The podcast and creative event production management app is that producer in your pocket. Imagine having a tool in your pocket as a solo creator, as a small podcasting or event management business, where you create and customize the app to do what you want, starting with a template that you see in front of you here. This template is built on GlideApps. You get a task tracker, location manager, supplier list, client list, gear required, the gear available, and you can have a schedule of events and the milestones that you have to achieve them. Now, your list can be more than this, but these are the functions that have been built into it as a template, as a starter. This capability allows you to plan around any typical event or production that has venues, has equipment, has people involved. Depending on the duration, of course, you have catering planning, you have suppliers, you have freelancers who work for you. And so in your pocket, you and your people could be out in the field with this app, able to check back in on what's needed, what equipment's in the office, in the store, what equipment needs to be hired, what equipment can be hired out, etc. So let's have a look at the features that are available in this tool. Very straightforward. You own the tables that lie beneath it. You populate those tables in order to see the information that you need to see. Those tables can be separate applications such as Google Sheets or others, or you can have the tables just in the app itself. This app can be used on the mobile app, or you can use it in the office as well, which I will show you in a moment. And as I say, you control the data that lies behind your apps. So this is on your desktop, or you can be managing it in your app. So if we have a look here, you could build a schedule of events that are coming up. So you could say there's a team building workshop that's coming up. It's going to be in conference room A, and you could add extra fields into your table that you do here, or you could edit the information right here inside of the app in your hand. If I go back now to have a look at the annual company picnic, you can see that we have fields for the date, what it's called, where it is, what do you think people should bring the bug spray, what the weather is usually like at that time of year, etc. And you have a producer or event manager. Imagine you have a charity fundraising gala and you're hosting it at the City Opera House and you haven't put in more detail or data yet, but you would be able to go and build into your event using the tables that are available to you. So that's how the schedule works. Then you could have a inventory of equipment that you have. But let's imagine you have microphones, you've got 50 in stock, and you charge it out to yourselves or to the client at $15 or whatever it might be each time it's used, or if it's $15 per day for that microphone. Imagine you have more information about what's in stock, what it's used for, what's the cost per use, what's the cost per hour if you're hiring it in or hiring it out. It depends on how you are choosing to use your tables. What are the dimensions? How much is it? Do you need a truck or a car to carry this particular piece of equipment? We have a camera and it weighs this much, it's older, what do you use it for? For example, of course, I'm just using these as fictitious examples, but what do you have, what are you using? Then you have a tasks function, which like here, it's a very simple task function. It has, I'm going to plan a client meeting. I haven't started it yet, and the due date is the 29th of May. If I'm going to review the event setup checklist by a certain date, I'm going to create the event schedule by a certain date. While as the administrator, I'm looking at this, imagine the administrator would be able to fill in more details as to the event. So I know that in this table, let's say the team building workshop we've discussed before as the conference room A team building workshop. Here we've got the King's Quest, which is, we don't have a picture for it, so I'm not going to use that as an example. What about the product launch event? So we go back to our normal view, and where do we have the product launch event? Now I'm doing a live demo. It's not showing to us. Terribly sorry about that. That is not a bug. That is how somebody has set the table up. Then you could have your locations. Very simply, I could have a lot of information about my location, and that would depend on how much information I have been and put in. There we go. That's how we can see where the information is. So there you can see we have the Mount Nelson location name, the address, etc., facilities, event venue within it, etc., various pieces of information. If I go and look at my app view of this in my hand, I've just got a phone call. I've been asked to go to this venue in order to scope it out for an event or a filming, production, whatever it might be, and I can just pull up the app which you have put the information into for your people out in the field. So we've got pictures of the different rooms. We've got special notes. Somebody fiddled with the equipment when we went out. What are the security arrangements? Who's the main contacts that we've got there, etc. So this is really nifty for people out in the field. You'll know that I haven't put much detail into my locations, which I've just put in for the Mount Nelson. So let's go back to our app and we can say, well, what equipment is required, for example, for a podcast? So I need, this is for in a studio. This is what I need. What are my special notes? There was a cable missing. What about a podcast which is indoors, which I've defined here? and certain information which isn't in a studio, but it's at a client site in an office or what it might be. What about a podcast that's outdoors? I could have more detail there. What about an event like a festival? What do we need if we are shooting the before, during, or after videos? Lavalier mics and 2 reflector lamps. You need the headphone power cables or whatever. So really nifty. What about I'm asked to go and do something at somebody's home that's indoors? Well, I haven't put much detail in there yet. So what about noisy outdoor event, for example? So you'll see what I'm talking about. Then you have another menu, which also has a list, which would be a table that you build of your suppliers and the details about them, the work we've done with them before. Let's have a look at the app view again. Frederico, what work have I done with him before? So I've been told he's coming to work with me, but I don't know anything about him. What's it like working with Frederico? What's it like if you're going to Marta as a supplier? What is it like dealing with her? We got what we expected. 4 of the team stayed at that hotel, etc. And you could put notes about your experience that you had with Marta at that hotel in Goa. Clients, same story. Joe is a client. He's a freelancer, but he comes to you for equipment or whatever it might be. He's worked with us to do what we call podcast 3 or 3 podcasts. It's entirely up to you how you define what's in here. Jane is a client. We filmed an after party for them, etc. She pays, but the Forex delays and charges, they hurt us a little bit. What's her satisfaction level? Grumbled about the cost. So I know this is a long intro, but what we have here is a very feature-rich side of things. And on my team, here's our CEO and email address for the CEO, which happens to be real. And then you've also got our managing director, and you've got in this sample, he's the managing director of Kaya Creative Productions. And that's it. And then we could have a calendar view of what we are doing. Our calendar hasn't been updated for a while, but imagine we have put something into our schedule and we can see it in our calendar. Now, I've said before, you can actually look at this in your office in a desktop view. Events, the schedules, the equipment that you've got available, the tasks that you've got outstanding, locations that you use, the gear required, and so much more. Suppliers, clients, team, calendar. So let's have a look. And again, you can add whatever it is you need into your tables. I'll click down the left-hand side. Equipment is a table. It could be a spreadsheet that you're maintaining elsewhere, or if you maintain it straight in here on the free version of GlideApps, then there is no additional cost involved once you go behind a number of updates. Here's my users, here's my locations, etc. So you've got your tables. Really good stuff. Very easy to use. And you can use it under the free license of GlideApps for up to 10 personal members. That could be any employee, but for the free version, using a non-company email address. So if you had everybody ending with the same email address or the same suffix, it would prevent you from using it like that. But if everybody's is different, you can have 10 employees. In your small event business or as a solopreneur, you're using this, you're customizing it to everything that you need. And it's only if you expand the scope of your business that you start to upgrade the licensing with their very reasonable licensing fees. I hope you enjoy using the app.